Hello, my name is Luke, and the study we'll be talking about today was about self-esteem. And the title of the study was How Do Changes in One's Self-Esteem Affect the Self-Esteem of Others? The study wanted to answer the question, when someone's self-esteem is raised, how does their presence affect the people surrounding them? The study was going to answer this by looking through a viewpoint of social comparison. The study planned to use self-evaluation maintenance model, SEM for short, which assumes that people are motivated to maintain a positive self-evaluation and that one's relationship with others has an impact on self-evaluation. The model used three factors that included the performance level of the comparison target. That was based on whether the target is successful or unsuccessful. The importance of the comparison dimension to the person. That was based on whether dimension is self-relevant or self-defining. And thirdly, the closeness of the comparison target to the person, whether the person shares a relationship or connects psychologically with the target. And a target could be something as a academic achievement or a fictional feedback about a task performance. While usually SEM is used for someone to talk about themselves, researchers predicted that when someone around them has high self-esteem, the participants will also talk about others using this model. The study used scenarios to manipulate the closeness and performance of others. For example, sending a friend in with a participant and then sending in a classmate that the participant does not know well to gauge the closeness. The study also made conditions in the environment of high self-esteem and unchanged. To try to get a baseline of the self-esteem before each scenario, the researchers decided to measure the participants' state of self-esteem before and after each scenario. The researchers made three predictions. First was the participants who regard self-esteem as important in the improved condition would be lower than in the unchanged condition. Secondly, participants who regarded self-esteem as less important in the improved condition would be higher than in the unchanged condition. Thirdly, the improved condition, the importance of self-esteem would be negatively related to post-manipulation self-esteem. The study was on the first and second year students in a public junior high school. They had 225 participants, 127 males, 97 females, one other. The average age was 13 and a half years old. It was approved to be ethical by the research committee of the Graduation School of Education at Hiroshima University. Since it had some manipulation in it, they needed it to be approved. And the experiment was conducted by junior high school's teachers. The researchers used scales and written scenarios instead of actual scenarios. The reason of this is unknown, but it could be due to some ethical reason. The study had two parts of the study. They were held a week apart. The first was a scale looking at participants' self-esteem and the importance they put on self-esteem. The second part was participants reading a scenario, one of six. Then after the scenario, the participants would undergo another scale to test their self-esteem. The scale they used for both parts to measure participants' self-esteem was State Self-Esteem Scale from Ab and Kona 2007, which looked at the importance of self-esteem as well as the state of self-esteem the participants are in. For importance, it was a 1 to 7 scale. For the state of self-esteem, it was used a 1 to 5 scale. They also asked if they could visualize the scenario on a 1 to 6 scale. The researchers used three types of scenarios, which was about one with a friend, one with a classmate, and two others that were about low self-esteem and high self-esteem. This was done to elicit changes in self-esteem and also social comparison. For the results, all the relationships being tested in the study showed a high statistical significance, and being that most of them or all of them were 0.001, and there was one that was 0.003, but still being under the mark for being statistically significant. Researchers' predictions were mainly correct. Some results were when looking at the friend scenario, the higher importance put on self-esteem, and people with low self-esteem before the scenario, their self-esteem would lower when in a approved self-esteem environment, and it was the opposite for people who initially had high self-esteem in a approved environment. The classmates' results did not provide good information. The researcher predicted this to be because of classmates not being like a stranger, like done in other studies. They also found that in participants with low self-esteem near others with improved self-esteem, their self-esteem was lowered when self-esteem is important. This effect was more significant when self-esteem was seen as less important. They did not say much about high self-esteem, besides that it has a positive relationship with the importance of self-esteem and post-manipulation self-esteem. Those were the results, but one limitation they had was to treat high and low self-esteem as variance in the unchanged conditions. To wrap it up, they wanted this study to help kids learn in the classroom and help teachers give their students a higher self-esteem. The study was comprised by Hikaru Shimizu, Chisato Takashi, Mayu Koki, Kenshiro Fuki, Kenshiro Nakasumi.